G'day and welcome to Bikes and Bits 1000. Today we're talking about 6 things that car drivers may not know about motorcyclists and why they do it.
So I've been asked by friends in the past, they see motorcyclists riding and doing certain stuff and they've just wondered why they do it. So here I've put together just 6 things that are generally seen or done by motorcyclists and try and explain them a bit. So number 1, leaving indicators on. You've got to understand that bikes don't have auto-cancelling indicators like cars do. So when you turn the corner, it doesn't automatically turn off. Sometimes riders forget to turn the indicators off and that's why you'll just keep seeing it flashing.
So lane positioning is very important for motorbikes. One thing to point out, so I'm in the middle now. Now I'm in the left. And now I'm in the right of my lane. Now unlike cars, I'm much smaller than cars, so I can use the whole lane. Now for some cars, if I'm over on the left hand side, sometimes they think that gives them the excuse to occupy part of my lane if they're trying to overtake me. Car drivers don't do it. Simple. The reason motorbikes do it is to allow for hazards, and also if there are other cars you can sort of move, sort of be comfortable in your lane.
So the next one's lane splitting. You'll see me come up between these 2 rows of cars at the stop to the lights. A lot of drivers don't like it, but I hate to tell you, get over it, because it is perfectly legal in New South Wales for a fully licensed rider to do this. The reason motorcyclists actually do this is to actually get in front of the traffic, to get away from it. There's no point being a motorcyclist being hemmed in between traffic, and it basically gets you away from the traffic, away from danger effectively. This leads me on to my next point, accelerating away from the intersection. You might see bikes take off and you think they're going really fast, and look, they might be going quick. Something to remember though, for bikes though, they power to weight ratio is much more significant than cars. Even learner legal bikes are able to take off pretty quick. Sports bikes, sport tourers like I'm on, they'll take off very quick. The reason being that they're doing this is to make distance between them and traffic again. It's just to create that big safety bubble or safety margin, gets them away. Look, next set of lights you might catch them again, but it's just to create an area of safety where they're not hemmed in. So this leads me on to the next part of braking. Now whilst a motorbike can out-accelerate a car very easily, braking, it's a lot more even. This is especially true as well in the wet, where actually bikes will take longer to stop, or where there's gravel, where it's more hazardous conditions. Cars obviously have 4 tyres, quite large contact patches. Motorbikes only the 2, and even though the bike tyres might look quite wide, only a very small section of that tyre is touching the road at any one time. Here's a picture of my rear tyre and my front tyre, and you might be able to make out that it's only quite a small portion that's touching the road at any time. As you lean the bike over, well, it's a different section touching, but it's never the entire tyre in contact with the ground like a car is. So as such, you might find some motorcyclists be braking earlier than you might expect, just to give them enough room. What you might not know is the front brake of a motorcycle does about 80% of the braking. The rear tyre or the rear brake really doesn't do a lot. And if you've ever seen the comparison of a motorbike stopping with just the rear brake compared to just the front brake, there's a massive difference. The front brake has so much power that if you've ever seen MotoGP, like this photo that I've got up, the back wheel can actually come off, which once it's off the road, it's not providing any braking, it's the front brake doing all the work. So the last thing you might see on the road is a motorcyclist giving another motorcyclist either a wave or a bit of a head nod to say hi. Now, it's not always because they know each other, it's just acknowledging another rider on the road. When I bought my first bike, I was looking at private sales in a dealership, and I ended up buying it privately, but I contacted the dealership who I was almost bought a bike through, and said thanks anyway, and the salesman said to me, "Mate, welcome to the family." And by that, motorcyclists do sort of look at themselves as a big sort of family, always trying to help out another motorcyclist. So that's why you might see them, bit of a wave, bit of a nod on the road. Thanks for watching, and hopefully you've enjoyed seeing why motorcyclists do some things on the roads. If you like this sort of content, like and subscribe. Just one extra point, saw this motorcyclist on my travels, and I always say to other motorcyclists, wear the gear, wear protective gear. You don't want to come off, and if this guy came off, it'd be all sorts of trouble. Right, thanks again, and catch you on the road. Cheers.